3-10. They have the worst record in the NBA entering Wednesday. It's not your fault. Not your fault. Bradley Beal. It's a 25-point deficit, but Beal trying to keep his guys in it. Dunks in traffic for the and one. Wizards still down 18. Less than a minute left in the third. That's dirty turf Alex Len feeding Beal. He's got 24 in the quarter. Beal goes for 47. 47. But again, they're down by double digits. Zion from Brandon Ingram.
Both had 30.
They had big nights too. Zion had 32, 2, and 2. But really the story is that guy, because Beal, who was asked afterwards if he was frustrated, said, "Is the sky blue?" Well, right now it's night, but I understand what you mean. Beal had 47 in the game. The last 10 40-point games he has had with the Wizards have not come in any wins, which seems like an impossibility, but it's, according to Elias, a fact. The longest streak of 40-point games in history that have all been losses. There have been 95 players in NBA history with at least 10 40-point games in their careers. Beal's record in them, the worst of any, 6-19. Warriors beat the Timberwolves by 22 Monday. They run it back on Wednesday. A couple of rookies keep an eye on, Edwards and Wiseman. Wiseman, we're going to let you have that. Going to make you prove you can make it.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe. All right, you've proven you can make it.
Rookie of the year.
Stanford Steve awarding the Rookie of the Year trophy late January. Edwards, okay. I'm here. I'm also here. Oh, down the lane. Smooth game for this guy. 25 for him. Wiseman had 14, by the way, in the first. Steph had 2 points in the first half.
What?
2 points in the first half. He had 3 points right there on that shot as the Warriors stretch out the lead. Jake Layman blocked at the rim by Wiseman. Draymond constantly looks for this guy, and I understand why, because he's got a monstrous wingspan, and he's able to do that. And then here,
You got something.
I mean, that's not right. Jaden McDaniels
Sorry, kid.
gets worked by Curry, who ended up with 16 and 8. The Warriors win by a dozen. Tim Legler joins us now. And Tim, you were with us the night this news broke about Harden going to the Nets, and they're 5-2 since he's been there. What are you seeing?
Well, look, the defense is one thing, right? And that could be a whole show. You and I could do an hour-long special on some of the things they need to improve defensively. So let's just talk about what it looks like offensively. And look, there are times when they can be flat out unguardable because no team can really implement enough scheme to deal with three different guys that are this dynamic. Scott, the league has never had a team with three guys at the top of their roster that are this explosive offensively. So when you talk about that my turn, your turn type basketball, well, when you have three of those guys, it can be very effective because there's just no way you can get all your rotations down straight when there's three different guys that can attack you like that. But having said that, where I get concerned is the way they want to settle games late. And it seems to me it's going to be James Harden's decision. And he is the guy, more often than not, since they've been together, that has the ball in these situations. He's the guy that has the most crunch time touches by a wide margin over Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Tonight's a perfect example. I'm going to the guy that can get me a mid-range basket. Because that, more often than not, is the shot that's the high percentage shot that you can win a game with. You're hitting a step back three with a hand in your face or getting to the rim or the line in that situation. That's a very difficult thing to pull off. But that middle area of the floor, which James Harden really doesn't possess, that is where you win games. And if I've got Kevin Durant on my team, I think I'm definitely involving him in some sort of action. And then maybe even Kyrie as my second choice in that situation because of their ability to get to 12 to 18 feet, elevate and make shots. That's just not in James Harden's arsenal. So I do want to watch that going forward to see if that comes back to bite them in a really big moment when we get closer to the playoffs or certainly in a playoff series.
I'm with you, but I'm a Durant sycophant. Just give him the ball and get out of the way. I agree with you there. The Nets are chasing the Sixers in the East, and we saw Tobias look for that shot, and he got it late. But what are we seeing in those late clock and late game situations from Philadelphia that continue to be a question mark, Tim, for you?
Big moment for the Sixers, big moment for Tobias Harris, because that is the fatal flaw with this team. They don't really have an identity offensively that's going to work late in games because Embiid can be doubled in the post and Ben Simmons is a non-threat to score. So you take a look at the possession that precedes the game winner. They don't really know where they want to go with this, but you end up with your best player, a center, with the ball at the three-point line. That's not a terrible shot, but you're asking your center to beat a guy off the dribble and shoot a fadeaway jumper. Now, when they get the offensive rebound, they still don't know exactly what they want to do. Embiid's hanging out at 30 feet. They don't really have any sort of focus here. Ben Simmons comes off. Harris actually wants the ball at the top of the key against Caruso, but Simmons just throws it to Danny Green because it's the first guy he sees, and they end up with that shot, and it almost cost them the game. I like this. They go to this out of the timeout, and it doesn't involve Embiid, and that's okay. They go to ball screen. Unnecessary switch here by the Lakers. You do not need to switch this far from the basket, but they do, and as a result, Tobias Harris gets Caruso on him. He knows he's a smaller defender. He wants to get to that sweet spot for the step back going to his left, and it's what I just talked about with the Nets situation. That's the shot that wins games in that situation. Just ask Kawhi Leonard. He led a team to a championship by making that exact shot over and over because it's very difficult to double team a guy in that area of the floor. So this is a big moment for Tobias Harris. If he can be that guy that can get to spots late in games, maybe that's your identity offensively, because I think it's going to be difficult for Joel Embiid with the amount of traffic he's going to see and his shot selection in those situations to determine games that way. And obviously it's not going to be Ben Simmons. So maybe Tobias Harris can be the guy. He was sensational all night in this one, and this was a barometer game for Philly. Give him a lot of credit because they controlled most of the game. They almost let it get away, and they held on with patience and poise at the end and got the win.
You know what else we could do an hour on at some point? Is 36-year-old LeBron at this level. Are you kidding me? It is outrageous where this man's level of play is, but we'll save that conversation for a night where they either steal the win or get the win, Tim, and I'm sure we'll have time to talk about that throughout the season. Thank you as always.
Will do, Scott.
I mentioned LeBron entering Wednesday, 22-1 over the last 2 seasons with scoring at least 30 points. The only loss coming against the Pacers.